So with the presentation of the Canon C50 yesterday and the Nikon Zr today, the message is clear: Sony, they're coming for you. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thomas Love here from One Lens Only, and today guys we're talking about cinema cameras because they're quite active. Most of the producers out there, apart from Hasselblad that just released a photography dedicated only camera, which I do understand, so chapeau for that. Guys, Video Tom here, talking about this brand new release. You know I'm a Nikon fanboy because I always love the brand and I always love the camera bodies, the glasses, the quality for the money that you get. And then I have to say they were a bit dormant for a few years, but ever since they released the first Z camera, Z8, Z9, Z6 III, ZF, and now even the ZR, I have to say they are on par with the other brands in the market, if not better, because they are innovating a lot. And so we saw this ZR coming and we discussed it already a few days ago. If you missed the episode, please find it up here, because we were discussing whether it was just a copycat of the FX line or they were innovating really. And I think that today we have our answer. So Nikon, it's innovation pure. We saw a lot of patents along the days. We have plenty of episodes. We discussed the pixel grouping to have independent white balancing and exposure balancing. We saw the innovation in moving the AF control inside the barrel where it is really not moving anymore, so it's more stable. And today with this ZR, well, the form factor, of course, it's similar to the FX line by Sony because apparently it became the standard for cinema camera. It's a brick similar to the Sony A7C Mark II, which I'm using right now to record this episode. So it's a brick, and most of them do not have the EVF. Why? Because you need a big monitor, because you need additional monitors to be mounted when you rig up your camera. So the EVF doesn't really make a difference when you're shooting video, because most of the time you don't have the camera at hand here, but you have it down there, and so you're looking into monitors. Well, apart from the Sony FX2 where they put this tiltable EVF, but that's a different thing. So Nikon Zr, chapeau for the product. It's a beautiful shape. I still don't know about the tactile pleasure. You know, that is one thing that I'm really into. It needs to be good when you have it in your hands because you invest a lot of money. So we'll see as soon as it will be available in stores. But for what I can see, it's the first camera that can actually shoot red RAW. So the red and E files, guys, that's a 12-bit with red color science in a small camera. So that's to be appreciated. You don't need to go around with the big Raptor or with big cages. You can eventually have the ZR for prosumer use, even if you are not a professional, even if you don't want to rig it up, put it on a gimbal, put a monitor, put audio and so on and so forth. You can eventually have it yourself and keep it out from your bag and do cinematic recording in 12-bit with the red file. So this is the very first innovation. We saw it coming. As soon as Nikon acquired the red, we saw it coming. We were all waiting for that. So the very first step was them mounting the Z mount on red cameras, and this is what we were really waiting for. So that's a great thing for the codecs side. It can shoot 6K, 60, 4K, no sorry, it can shoot 6K, 4K 60 with the crop and FHD 120. So it's not an impressive frame rate for the slow motion, but still usable. So 4K 60, I was not expecting a crop because they're using the semi-stacked sensor that they have already put in the Nikon Z6 Mark III. So the rolling shutter is really reduced to minimal levels, but yeah, it's not the best out there for slow motion frame rates. So just think about that. The other great innovation is that it can record 32-bit float audio directly with the inner mics of the camera. So you don't need the HDR ports to be mounted, rigged up, additional handles, so on and so forth. You can have 32-bit float audio directly in the camera, and then managing everything with that 4 inches display that the camera has, well, it might be reduced to the very minimal. So pros and cons. Ideally, as a one-man band and a one-lens only subject here, I would appreciate that camera that much because you have impressive raw red quality and impressive 32-bit float audio directly in the camera, so you don't need anything else, just the camera, the glass. Try to stabilize it as much as possible, and then you have impressively good results already without adding anything else. The 4-inch display might be good enough. I still have to see if the battery has enough juice to keep going. The only thing that I'm really puzzled about is it doesn't have an inner vent. So I had the first Panasonic S5 Mark II X that had an inner vent, because if you want to keep recording, heat dissipation is a thing. You need to work on that. And then we saw the C70, the C50 from Canon. They all have an inner vent. And I was kind of expecting a solution from this Nikon Zr to avoid overheating, but maybe it's just in my head, because of course the usual suspects, they do not have the camera in their hands yet, so I didn't see any product trial, I don't know any test, but it is something to keep an eye on, because if you want to use it for professional use, well, that doesn't have an inner vent, so the airflow circulating, it might be overheating. I don't know if you guys live in California or warm places. Where I am right now for this season, I wouldn't give a thought about it, but maybe it might be the case if you live in warmer places. So keep an eye on that before investing into the system, because maybe they will find a solution. Maybe they will come up with additional accessories like external vents, some kind of thing, or maybe they just worked on the heat dissipation internally, so that might not be an issue. Don't start circulating voices that I said it's overheating, because it's not, until it is. So keep an eye on that, guys. And then I don't know if you start stacking money already to pre-order this ZR. I would do it if I was working in video production, because I love Nikon. I have always loved, and I'm still missing the Z mount. I still have to test it, and so I will probably start with the ZF, but the ZR, guys, it's a great product. I still don't know the price, but I'm assuming it's aligned with the other players in the market, so that might not be a differentiator. And please let me know if you have any questions about that product down here. Otherwise, I hope you got some value out of this video. If you did, please remember to like it, share it on your social media, subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the new videos to come, and I guess I will see you later. Thank you. Bye-bye.